Joining us now is Okpe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jenny.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. I love that smile. Happy Friday.
I like the fact you are smiling.
Yes, I have to smile all the time.
Oh, yes.
Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
How's good?
Good.
How are you?
Good.
Thank you. You're far too kind.
All right. Well, all right. I don't know what you're talking about, but good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In the United States, the House January 6 committee voted unanimously on Thursday to subpoena former President Donald Trump and demanded his personal testimony as it unveiled a startling new video of close aides describing Trump's multi-part plan to overturn his 2020 election loss, which led to his supporters' fierce assault on the U.S. Capitol.
He must be accountable. He is required to answer for his actions. He's required to answer to those police officers who put their lives and bodies on the line to defend our democracy.
In the United Kingdom, King Charles on Thursday unveiled his first plaque since becoming monarch as he reopened the Burial Collection in Glasgow, which features 9,000 historical objects, including 200 medieval tapestries, almost exactly 39 years after the late Queen Elizabeth II first opened the museum to the public. Under sports, the ball that football legend Diego Maradona used to score the Hand of God goal against England at the 1986 World Cup is set to go on auction next month with an estimate of £2.5 million to £3 million. Maradona, who is considered one of the greatest footballers ever, punched the ball past Peter Shilton to open the scoring in the quarterfinal in Mexico City. The shirt Maradona wore sold in May for £7.1 million, a world record for a piece of sporting memorabilia. Under entertainment, Afrobeat singer Temilade Okpe, better known as Tems, has bagged 2 nominations for the 2022 MTV Europe Music Awards. The 27-year-old star, who recently made history as the first female African musician to win the Best International Act at the 2022 BET Awards, was nominated in the Best African Act and Best New Artist categories. Finally, tributes pour in for musician Patrick Fakoya, popularly known as Rico Swavey, a former Big Brother Naija housemate who died on Thursday, October 13, at the age of 29 after suffering fatal injuries sustained from a car crash. The reality star was reportedly unresponsive and was put on life support prior to his death. While many Nigerians shared their heartfelt condolences on Twitter, a viral video that captured the moment Rico arrived at the hospital as nurses tried to attend to him has sparked outrage online.
Please, if you should stop making the video and let's move in.
Let the video matter.
Somebody is living for taking video.
Oh, may his soul rest in perfect peace. Dr. Abati, you know, we always talk about these issues with Nigerians or people recording, you call them small phones. With their small phones, instead of helping, this was so appalling what happened at the hospital. I mean, we cannot say that the hospital is to blame because the person filming might have not been a hospital attendant. There is, reports that it may have been, unconfirmed report that it may have been Doreen Hospital or something like that in Lagos State. But, it's a horrible situation that happened to Rico.
Let's commiserate with the family of Patrick Fakoya. That's his real name, popularly known as Rico Swavey, which is his nickname. A young man full of promise, and now he's dead due to an accident. It's most unfortunate when we lose a life. You lose a whole generation. You lose a whole possibility and future. So we hope that the family, and his friends and everyone who was privileged to know him, either through his work as a celebrity or, as a human being, will be consoled by God Almighty. Now, this seems to be a week where nursing has been on the spot. This is the same week that we had a story of a malevolent nurse in the UK, Miss Letby, 32-year-old Miss Letby, who was accused of killing 7 babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital, and she was going to kill 10 more before she was stopped. And then in the papers today, it's reported that she said she's evil and that she did what she did, which is very unfortunate. Our idea of nursing is that nursing is a noble profession, right?
Yes.
A profession made famous by Mary Slessor and others and all of that. But then you have, in 1 week, reports of a nurse killing babies and then nurses not showing human compassion. Now, in this particular case in Lagos State, we were told that, in fact, one of the nurses was saying, this person is on life support. This person is dying. You people should not film him.
Yes.
But the other nurses, the equivalent of UK's Letby, the malevolent nurse, refused. They kept, viewing him. It was an invasion of privacy.
Absolutely.
It was a demonstration of lack of compassion and a violation, it seems to me, of the ideals of nursing. The third point to make is that we live, yesterday we were talking about social media, the inevitability of social media. But this is a very fine example of when voyeurism can be interpreted as malevolent. We have suddenly, in the age of technology and social media, seen, the dangers of voyeurism. If people see a house burning, their first instinct is to take a picture. They will even forget to call the fire service. If you see somebody dying, their first instinct is to bring out phone.
Terrible.
This clickbaiting, the evil of clickbaiting. Some people live permanently on social media. They are more interested in their own vanity, in their own voyeurism, rather than humanism. So this is, the other side, or the discontent of technology. But, okay, by way of summary, in this particular incident, the Lagos State government, speaking through Gbenga Omotosho, Commissioner for Information, has said that the matter will be investigated. Gbenga Omotosho has also been quoted as saying that this was not a government hospital, that it was a private hospital. Whether it's a government hospital or it's a private hospital, what has been demonstrated along the lines that I've identified is unacceptable. And people must just lend themselves sense. In fact, the bigger part of it is publishing it. The publication is in itself an affront.
Absolutely. Rufai, quickly.
Quite sad. Rico Swavey had a life ahead of him. Actor, BB Naija star. But it's all cut short now by an accident. We can only think and pray that his family will find, the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. Activists of some sort. That particular video you're showing was a video where he was talking in BB Naija about the fact people shouldn't waste food, that he's seen a lot of people that have suffered in their lives. But on top of that, you now have people that are more concerned about filming and putting it on their blogs or sending it to blogs rather than saving the man's life. Whoever filmed that video should be apprehended and it should be made to face the full wrath of the law. Even that hospital should be investigated.
Yes.
Because we've had too many cases of negligence. We all remember the Popular Chef's case. That case has been back and forth in court now. Now a man is on life support and you're filming him.
Unacceptable. There should
And
be
I'm appalled. I'm
something.
appalled because is this the nursing Florence Nightingale, the mother of modern nursing? Is this the pathway she laid down? Where are we going to separate this craze and madness for pop culture and all of this? So like the commissioner said rightly, and I support what the Commissioner of Information in Lagos said, they should investigate and call out that hospital. And also apart from that, I want the Federal Competition Commission, FCPC, led by our amiable Dr. Erukera, to look at this, and complaints should be lodged about this, and this should be taken up. Hospitals like this do not deserve to be running, or members of staff like they need to face the full wrath of the law. And please, we ask media outlets too that these things are published on. Let's not glorify this. Let's not show a picture of a man in his dying days to all of us to see, because we want to excite ourselves.
Well, all right. May his soul rest in peace. We'll take another story. The governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has again stirred up social media after he increased the number of recently appointed special assistants from 28,000 people to 50,000. On Wednesday, the governor had approved the appointment of the 28 persons as special assistants for polling units in the state, and also appointed 319 ward liaison officers and 40 local government area liaison officers, while some Nigerians reacting to the appointments have said that the governor may be tactically fulfilling his promise of stomach infrastructure to those appointed as he gets close to the end of his tenure. Let's take some reactions. This is from Prince, who wrote, I think Rivers State has close to 1 million voters. Wouldn't it be necessary if Wike appoints all eligible voters in Rivers State, special advisors and special assistants, so that we will know that no other candidate will get a vote except for the ones he chooses? Well, Ogochukwu wrote, election for Rivers State. Go loud, oh. Wike wants to become a godfather in Rivers State. He wants to keep Rivers State in control, even when he leaves office. We are watching. Well, Ugo wrote, PDP want to play politics with Wike's head, and he is using all that he has to tell PDP that he is the master of the game. I love his moves. Now, other governors will start to adopt this formula. Let's see how PDP can stand on his nose. Well, in the meantime, the governor, who has been absent from critical party events and meetings, reiterated the call to remove the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia, during a meeting with 4 South governors who had been assigned to plead with him to support the PDP flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar. Wike pointed out that no one can persuade him to let go of his insistence that internal democracy prevails within the party. Well, let's take a listen.
The chairman said, as if he knew, which means they have worked for it before now. Yes. He said, if the presidential candidate comes from the north, he will resign. Which means they had this in mind. Now the thing has come to reality. But resign. No. In a party like PDP, that the votes have come from the south, and you say presidential candidate should be south, north, chairman should be north, DG should be north, because you want to be loyal to which party? The force of our people will not be there, and you're not changing. He said, go and talk to me. Talk to me. What did I do? I've accepted the presidential candidate. Have I not accepted? I've accepted the presidential candidate. Have I not accepted? What is the problem again? You fulfill your own.
Dr. Abati, Governor Wike is not giving up.
Governor Wike and his allies are saying that what they want in the People's Democratic Party in terms of the structure and the positioning is just equity and justice. And that's what he reiterated there, that he doesn't want a situation whereby, major positions in the party are dominated by persons from the northern part of the country. And he has said this again and again. The papers today even went a step further to say that they are meeting in London to see what the way forward will be. But when Wike and his allies speak about the irreducible minimum, it means that there's no room for negotiation on that particular question. Because if people are saying, oh, we'll go and meet you, we'll negotiate with you, and you say, this is my irreducible minimum, you are saying that, this is the very minimum that we cannot even discuss. And that's what he has been very consistent about. Hence the boycotts that you have seen. However, as for the recruitment of 28,000 special assistants, 14,000 special advisors, and a total of officers in 319 was bringing total of appointments made this week alone by Governor Wike, bringing the total to over 50,000. I mean, that's serious. Why is this serious? What is even the size of the civil service of Rivers State?
That's the question everyone is asking, Dr. Abati.
Because if you place it by side, political appointees at election time, they are even more than this entire civil service of Rivers State. That's one. The second point is, yes, people have said justifiably, okay, he wants to put his people in positions because it's election time. 3, this also shows abuse of patronage, because these people, I don't think they are going to do the job free of charge, even if it's a short window. After all, Governor Wike is on his last leg as a river. So would they be paid, or are they doing it voluntarily? Who is going to bear the cost of this over 50,000 personal civil service that the governor has created? So these are the questions. But, the people of Rivers State themselves are not asking the questions. The House of Assembly is not asking the questions. But our job as journalists, of course, is to be the busybody of the environment as members of the 4th estate of the realm and to raise questions.
Absolutely. Rufai, quickly.
I mean, the shocking thing is the scale at which this goes on.
Yeah.
And it's not only Governor Wike. I think there was another governor of Cross River State or something, that had this large scale of people too. But the shocking thing about Governor Wike is that this is leading up to the elections. So where is he going to get? Is it state funds he wants to use to pay these people that executes his own election agenda for him? Then are there not better things to do with the money of River State rather than getting over 50,000 special assistants? What is really going on here? What country have we built? But this is not funny. I mean, what country have we built on our hands? 50,000 people leading up to the elections? And at some point, I'm sure Rivers people and the civil servants in the state could have done more with a salary raise. These are the true hardworking people in the state. Correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't we seen times where civil servants protest in Rivers State about salaries? And we're having 50,000 people just for the sake of elections? That's one. Second, yeah, he's got his own problem with Atiku Abubakar. That's his own problem. He might choose to join the campaign or not join the campaign. But I think what he should be thinking of, and kudos to him on this, is to think of how to double and do more projects. But kudos to him because he has done a lot of projects and we see them on television every time. But I think the monies to be given to these people or whatever arrangement, we should be careful. Because after this election is done, definitely he will drop these people. And you will have raised their hopes so high and you'll have dashed it at the same time. What becomes of this?
He himself will not be there.
He will not be there. So what becomes of these people that you've raised their hopes so high? All of a sudden they have jobs before they don't have jobs again. I mean, we need to be circumspect in our actions in this country.
Well said, Rufai. We shall take our final story. In Kogi State, where a chief magistrate court sitting in Lokoja remanded Pastor Adeiza Peter Michonza at the Federal Correctional Centre Kabba over alleged culpable homicide. The pastor is the overseer of the new Jerusalem Deliverance Ministry in Okene local government area of the state. He was arrested over allegations of running labor wards for pregnant women in his church and selling bulletproof water to people. The Kogi State government sealed his church on Monday, September 26th, and moved out over 100 people, mainly young women, who claimed they came for prayers and had spent months at the church, as well as mentally unstable captives held with chains. While in an ex parte application filed by the Department of State Services, the pastor was said to have committed culpable homicide causing miscarriage and impersonation punishable under the state's penal code. Dr. Abati, I feel like I have heard everything. But I mean, this is such a sad story at the same time. Because, I mean, how does a pastor do this? The point is, when did he become a doctor? And now he was said to have been running labor wards. he also even led his congregation at one point to protest over the incarceration of R. Kelly.
Okay, one, you know, I'm sure we'll always see this, but I think the basic caution is to say, buyer beware. You know, people have turned religion into an instrument for mass hypnotism. And the reason that is possible is because of the poverty in the land.
Yes.
And the various infractions and omissions in our environment. The women who go to this church to be delivered, they know that there are hospitals, but they go there. The man is a pastor, but he's attending to women. Part of the charges is that, you know, many miscarriages have been recorded. The people who go there, they know that the man is not a medical doctor.
Do you think so?
Well, is he a medical doctor? He's not a medical doctor. But people go there, they willingly submit themselves to this new Jerusalem church to be delivered of children for the management of pregnancies. So that in itself is a reflection of the level to which this society has descended. Second, the man says he's offering bulletproof holy water. And people go there, they go and buy the same water, bulletproof. Okay, yes, you know, there is insecurity in the country, but okay, if there was proper security, will anybody go and be buying bulletproof water? Which is not proven, which is not tested. So the message to people is that, look, buyer beware. Yeah. It's a caveat emptor. These pastors, they are not God. Many of them are spellbinders. They are hypnotists. Now, what the state has done is to take this man before the court.
Yes.
After over 100 persons, look at the population.
I mean,
over 100 persons were rescued, is to take him to court. Okay, they've taken him to a magistrate court. That will be on the basis of a holding charge. You know, the case will eventually go to a federal high court. He's been remanded in prison. The motion on notice, you know, will be, I think they say on October 20, you know, so it's good that he's been prosecuted and that there will be due diligence in the prosecution. He's not the first one. There was another pastor the other time in whose church a child disappeared, you know, and he was taken to court. So these pastors of, these apocalyptic pastors and their methods, you know, and how they mislead the people, they are part of the problem. But the state itself is part of the problem. If you don't have organized maternal health, you know, facilities for women, if you don't have health insurance for people, if you don't have security, of course they will go to these hypnotists to seek bulletproof water, you know, and to seek, you know, traditional birth attendant services that will result in miscarriages.
Really sad. I like the reference, apocalyptic pastor. Remember we took a story of the one charging for going to heaven, quickly.
I mean, we should be very careful, especially for things that have a level of influence in people's lives. I think it was Marx that talked about religion being the opium of the masses. It is an opium. You should be careful. You should introspect.
Absolutely.
Not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry tells you anything. And that's why as a Christian, you must know your Bible for yourself. As a Muslim, you must know your Quran. As a Hindu, you must know your Bhagavad Gita. As a Buddhist, you must know your Dhammapada for yourself, whatever thing you believe in.
Absolutely.
All right?
Well, thank you both for your great analysis, as always.
Thank you very much, Okene.
Great. Well, that's all I have for you. What did you want to say?
No, I was going to ask you about the plans for the weekend.
No plans yet.
This is not the right time to ask that.
Yes. Well, all right. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.